All right, as we start Raider Week, on our roster, we had a practice squad spot open, and so we filled it with Dustin Waldron, offensive lineman, most recently with Miami and New England. Miami in the offseason, New England in training camp, and so we added him to the practice squad to give us a little depth on the offensive line because we were dealing with some injuries there. And speaking of injuries, all right, Bo is not practicing, as you know. Elam is not going to practice with the team. He might do some individuals, but he's not going to practice. He's been trying to work to get ready, but we'll see where he is. Russ Hochstein with his back is not going to practice. Loja with his back will not practice. And then Brandon Albert with his back is not going to practice. Limited, Cyrus Gray had a stinger in the game, and so we'll see what he can do today. You know, Flowers is coming off that hamstring. We'll see what he can do. Derek Johnson is nursing his hamstring. We'll see what he can do. Kendrick Lewis still nursing that shoulder. You know, and then Barry and Asamoah, they've been playing with cast on, but we've been limiting those guys during the week so that we can get them to Sunday. So that's where we are there. And as I mentioned to you yesterday, day before, that Bo is out for this game, and so we're taking our time looking at his injury and seeing exactly what it is and what we need to do with it. And so in the meantime, the other receivers have to step up. You know, Preston, Baldwin, Wiley, they have to step up and give us some production at that position. And so that's what we're going to focus on and work on starting today going into the game. And so we've talked to them about being able to step up and help us in that respect since we won't have Bo. So since today sun is shining and it's Raider Week, and so we're going to go and we're going to prepare and get ready to go play.
So with Bo's injury, Preston will be active this week?
I didn't say that. I said that those guys have to step up. So we're going to work during the week, and we're going to see who will give us the best chance in the game, and then those guys will be active.
What do you see with the lack of production from wide receivers? Is it a coaching issue, quarterback issue, a talent issue with wide receivers? Why haven't you been able to get production from that position?
Well, I think we've got production from Bo, and maybe we've given him the ball too much, you know, at the expense of the other guys. But when you got a guy who's making catches and the ball comes to him, he makes catches, he runs with it after the catch, you know, so we've been going to him.
What does Preston need to show you to get into uniform this week?
Well, he needs to show that he has a great understanding of the game plan and he can execute the game plan. If he can do that, then he can be in uniform.
Had he not been showing you that? Was that the reason he'd been inactive?
Well, there have been other guys who've been showing us a little bit more, so we've decided to go with those guys. And then also there's a special teams element that's involved in it as well.
What about John Baldwin? What has he been giving you that you couldn't otherwise get from Steve Preston?
Well, he's got size and strength, a little bit more size and a little bit more strength as far as that goes.
With Bo's situation, Albert week to week to week, and even Alilja, you got 3 weeks to go. Why not just shut them down, let them just get 1,000% and look at young guys? And I mean, why yo-yo these guys?
What do you mean yo-yo?
You know, Albert's kind of been this question mark. See what we could do, see what he could do, and then he doesn't play against Carolina much, and he couldn't make it through the game last week, and now this. Why not just give it to the kid and let him have it, and you do that maybe with the white.
Well,
so get to a point where why have these guys kind of have to go through this every week, and you guys, as far as not the uncertainty and not knowing who's going to be playing.
Well, when Loja plays, he plays pretty good. You know, when Brandon plays, he plays pretty good. The young kid has had opportunities, and he's been playing, so I don't begrudge him playing. and I give these veterans the benefit of the doubt, and if they tell me they can play, then I have them up. And so that's why I yo-yo them, so to speak.
What's your total about Bo? Is there a chance he could play next week or the last game of the season?
Well, not this week for sure. And like I say, I'm going to wait a couple more days, and they're going to give me some definitive results on some of the tests that they're running. And then if I determine that he can't play, then we'll put him on IR. If I determine that there's a chance, then I might yo-yo him too.
Coach, do you know at this point if they're cracked or broken or anything like that, or bruised ribs or?
They're sore.
Jamal's had a couple big games. Is he a guy you kind of have to lean on at this point with the passing game not exactly where you want it?
Sure. I mean, we've leaned on him all year. As you look at it, he's been the consistent staple, in our offense because he gains yards and he's the guy who has the potential to run for a touchdown, and so we kind of lean on him. Yes.
Maybe becoming one-dimensional a little bit too with him?
Well, I think that if you talk to people, they would say we're the one-dimensional, because everybody talks about us being able to run the ball. And when you're able to run it, teams know that you're going to run it. And so the thing that we have to look at is they're going to load up the box to try to stop the run. Now, we've been able to make some plays as a result of teams doing that against us, and Bo has been a part of that. So that's why I say that these other receivers are going to have to step up so that when we need to throw the ball or we need to do something different to back them off of the running game, that we can do that.
Does that make Jamal's performance these last 4 weeks or so just even more impressive, that teams know how dependent you are on him and he's still cranking out 100-yard-plus games?
Well, I think they've known all year, and he is playing he's a football player and he's playing football. He's trying to help his team win. That's what he's trying to do.
Coach, you mentioned Raiders Week, and you hear about rivalries. When you think of rivalry, what comes to mind? What's your definition of a rivalry?
Well, somebody that you enjoy playing, that you're going to have good competition against, and every time we go out there since I've been here, it's been a good competitive game. So I anticipate it will be another good competitive game this time.
Coach, what about consistency? This was another example this season of playing a good game or a competitive game, and then the following week things kind of fall off the track. Why haven't you been able to get that consistency from one performance to the next week?
Well, you know what? I'm not exactly sure totally, but in football, it always comes down to your performance. If you make plays, then you have a chance to win. When you don't make the plays, then you don't win. And we haven't made the plays.
Anything else?
Bro, has there been any memorable experience of playing in Oakland or LA? Memorable or not memorable? Just maybe some interaction with the fans or anything like that that stands out to you?
No, other than you view the fans when you go in and their attire in the black hole is memorable.
All right.
With Jamal, as long as you've been around the league, I mean, running backs come in various sizes, but I mean, you know the guy, the kid, and he's sometimes looks like a good stiff wind would blow him over. He's so skinny. Do you ever hold your breath when you see him disappear into that pile until you see him stand up and walk back to him?
No, usually when he disappears in that pile, I'm looking for him to come out the other side. That's what I'm hoping for. No, Jamal is a tough guy, even though, he looks like the wind could blow him over sometimes, but he's pretty tough, and he's been here every day at practice, working hard, trying to get better, and like I say, trying to help his team. So, you got to give him some kudos for being able to do that. Week in and week out. And at the running back position, you take a pounding at the running back. You're getting hit and you're getting bruised up and banged up, but he's been here every week.
And is that the same kind of feeling for Bo in that he didn't get hurt leaping for a pass. He didn't get hurt running around. He got hurt blocking.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, blocking on a 2-10 team and in a play away, the run went behind him, the play, he was getting a backside guy. I mean, is that the kind of stuff that you've seen from him all year as well?
All year. Ever since he's gotten back, he's jumped right in and tried to be the best that he could be, whether it's catching the ball, running with the ball, and blocking, because he's a very good blocker. And he feels like that's part of his job, to block, because he knows that he's helping his teammate when he does block.
And just to kind of finish on Jamal, and the fact that he's done this after the knee. I mean, we talked about this early, even like after New Orleans did it, but now that we're in December, coming off that knee, I mean, how even more impressive has this season been for him, considering that too?
Well, you know what, he came back off an injury, and he's not the only guy who has come back from injuries, but he's doing his job. He knows what his job is, and he's working to do his job, and for the next 3 games, he will continue to do that.
Coach, just curious of your comments of those who say that rivalry, Raiders week and whatnot, isn't as heightened because of the records of both teams this week. How do you respond to that?
Well, you know what? When you're in the playground, when you're a kid and you're in the playground and you got a rivalry, or you're in high school and the rivalry, it doesn't make any difference what the records are on a rival. You know, you're going to go and you want to win that game. And so I think that both sides feel the same way about it, and both sides want to go and win the game, so that's why it's going to be a good game.
Thank you.